We have a lot of guys that have come here on a personal mission to prove that they deserve to be here. And there's a bunch of chips on those shoulders now. I mean, these guys got something to prove. I feel the same way, and we've shared that kind of mentality, going through it. And I really like going to battle with these guys because of where their head's at, and they've proven it on the practice field and as we've worked. And now it's time to go.
What's good, Raider Nation? Welcome back to Vegas Nation, brought to you by the Las Vegas Review-Journal and Station Casinos STN Sports. I'm Vinny Bonsignore. I cover the Raiders for the Las Vegas Review-Journal and Vegas Nation. To my right is my good friend and colleague, Adam Hill. He also covers the Raiders for the Las Vegas Review-Journal and Vegas Nation. We just got done talking to Pete Carroll and Kenny Pickett. It is Thursday. The Raiders just wrapped up their weeks of work. It's a little bit of a break for all of us, I guess, for some of us. Until probably Monday, would you say? Maybe even. I mean, look, we're going into game week next week, so the Raiders can handle this a couple of different ways. We do know that they're going to get Friday through whenever off, so they're not going to be at work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for sure. Some teams bring their guys back on Monday just to get a little bit.
Now that I think about it, I think they will.
You think they will?
I think, in my mind, they'll come back Monday and then take Tuesday like a regular game week.
Yeah.
That's practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
To me, that would be the most seamless way, just kind of get your legs back under you on Monday and then, get back to work on a regular work week on Wednesday. But that is for a couple of days away. We heard from Pete Carroll just talking about the characteristics of this football team, and looks like they're going with and I think it actually is appropriate for this team, a bunch of guys that maybe had got kicked to the curb a little bit, or needed second chances or third chances in some cases. Heck, even Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll didn't want to leave the Seattle Seahawks. He didn't want to not be coaching the Seattle Seahawks. That was a organizational decision, and he abided by it. And now he's back on his redemption tour, as is guys like a Landon Roberts, Devin White, Jamal Adams, Jermaine Pratt. You could go on. Geno Smith, maybe to some extent. You could go on and on with that list. What do you make of that being the characteristic that stands out most about this team to Pete Carroll?
Well, I think it's the oldest motivational trick in the book, for sure. Like the chip on your shoulder, you got something to prove. Go out and show the world. Nobody wanted you. Go out and show the world. But it's the oldest motivational tool in the world for a reason. I mean, it works, and it's largely true in a lot of ways. I mean, most places have a lot of guys that weren't wanted by their teams. I mean,
a lot of one-year contracts.
Honestly, that's how it goes. But in this case, you look at the linebacking core in particular. Like a guy like Jermaine Pratt, who was a really, really good player in Cincinnati, missed a bunch of tackles last year, and they're like, yeah, we're good.
We're done.
Devin White is one of the best linebackers in the league. All of a sudden, nobody wants him and getting cut twice in a year, basically. I think you look at that position and say that's kind of the
Mari Cooper.
And I was just looking at the linebackers right now, but I mean, you look at that position, it's kind of a microcosm of the team. That's how a lot of these guys are. And I mean, Amari Cooper didn't have a job all off season. They bring him in. I think he still has something left and something to prove, just like everybody else. So, like I said, it's kind of cliche at this point that they have a chip on their shoulder, but there's a reason that it's kind of a tried and true motivational thing. It's real. It's reality.
Yeah, it is reality, and I think that Pete's going to kind of embody that a little bit, or take advantage of that a little bit. And I don't think that's I think that is something that's going to go over well in this locker room, because I do believe that there's a bunch of dudes that feel that way. And look, whether it's real, whether it's perceived. I remember J.J. Watt saying one time, I've always played with a chip on my shoulder, and if there isn't a legitimate one, I'll make something up,
right?
To put that thing on my shoulder.
You see it all the time, like a team that was favored all season, and wins, that goes like
nobody thought we were going
to. Nobody believed in us. What are you talking about? You were the favorite. Everybody believed in you. Everybody knew you were going to win, and you won. But sometimes you have to invent those things. Sometimes you have to make them up, and sometimes you don't. And I think in this case, you're not making it up. I think it's true.
No, I agree. I don't think that there's a ton of high expectations for this Raiders team in terms of wins and losses. I do believe that a lot of people believe that they're going to be better, and they're going to be better off, for some of the players that they have in this building, the coaching staff, the general manager that they have in this building. But where that gets them, I think people are still a little bit dubious of. But I think this team, and we've been around this team now, really going back all the way to OTAs and minicamp, but specifically for the last couple of months, however long training camp has been to this point. And I can genuinely say that I believe that these guys believe that they can be pretty good and that they can surprise some people. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to as professionals, first of all.
But I mean, I think there's.
But you talk to the belief. Yes, I think the belief is there.
Because there's teams that wing that a little bit. That they look themselves in the mirror and go, we're not that good.
Sure.
So they got to fool them. I don't think that this team is doing that. I think they look around and go, we could be pretty good.
Well, especially on the offensive side of the ball,
without question,
is true. But the defense, I'm sure, believes in themselves too. And you talk to guys sometimes that are say the 20th best player at their position in the league, and they're like, no, I'm the best player. Mm-hmm. And like that's a belief you have to play at this level, and you're always going to believe that you can be good. The reality is, can they? Like I think I've been pretty consistent. I think they're an 8 or a 9 win team, which is a huge improvement.
True.
I also don't think they can go much beyond that. I think that's kind of floor and ceiling. I think this team's kind of what they are at this point. But you never know how things are going to go. The playoff year. Again, I think it was 6 of the last 7 games they played a backup quarterback. Like that can happen. Like, you never know what's going to happen in this crazy world. So if you do enough in the first half of the season to put yourself in a position where some of the late games matter. Never know how those are going to fall. Never know what the confidence. Maybe the confidence just builds to a point where you exceed, what's believed in. Hey, maybe it goes the other way. Maybe the wheels fall off.
For me, this is why I can't say that I know what this team is in terms of the ceiling and maybe even the floor, because I don't know about the defense right now. I'll say this about the offense: is going to be a handful as long as that offense stays healthy. They're going to be a handful for teams week in and week out, and I think I'm okay with saying that. I'm pretty confident in saying that. What I don't know is what the defense is going to give them on a week-to-week basis, and if they can give them on the higher end, then that changes my ceiling a little bit, because I think if you can marry what I believe is going to be the case on offense with a credible defense, then the world kind of opens up for them a little bit in terms of their high end. But if they can't, then we could be looking at a 2020 Raiders team. The team that scored a whole bunch of points but gave up a whole bunch of points, and at the end of the day, it didn't get them very far.
Yeah, and I think health is obviously a question. Like that's
for sure
for every single team in the league. I mean, there's no question about that. So you can kind of throw that one out a little bit. I do think the offensive line and their ability to run block is going to be a massive question.
I think the offensive line is going to be better than people think.
I think it'll be fine. And I think especially in pass protection, it'll be better than people think. And run blocking, I think it will, because again, we've had this conversation. You don't fix a run game by drafting a running back, which they did. You fix it by scheme and offensive line. The offensive line has to get better. The scheme has to get better.
Fair enough.
And I think the scheme has gotten significantly better. And I think the offensive line I think is developing. I think it's still a bit of a work in progress, but I do think they can be pretty good. I think again, I think they're going to be better at pass blocking than run blocking.
Yeah.
But I think the scheme will help them. I think the scheme does fit them better in terms of their personnel, in terms of their athleticism, like the ability to get out, move a little bit, like Chip Kelly is going to want them to do. I think this will suit them well, and they will be better in that regard. So I do think that it's not going to be as bad as some people fear. And as long as they hold up, and as long as they play pretty well, and as long as Chip Kelly's system is what I think it is and what a lot of people think it is, I do think the offense will be good. The question, I guess, is the defense, and that will be a concern, I think, and a question throughout the season. But the positive side of that is that the talent is there. Like if the defensive players were all to play to their full potential, all together, could be good.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, how often does that happen? Not very often.
Well, I'll say this: what's a little bit different about that? Maybe not last year. It was just decimated by injuries,
sure,
and plus an offense that just did not cut him any slack whatsoever. Just hung him out to drive, left and right. But previous to last year, where I thought it was an injury issue and the offense just not supporting him, and I think that contributed to where the defense fell last year. But beyond that, since I've been covering this team since 2019, it's just been a talent issue and maybe a coaching issue too in certain years. Whereas this year, I'm with you. I think the talent is there. It's not the highest end talent. I mean, Max Crosby is Max Crosby, obviously, but I think the talent level is good. Maybe not great in a lot of areas, but good enough. Now it's just a matter of can it come together and can it stay healthy? Because once you get beyond the starting players.
Yeah, depth is a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty fair to say. So, and NFL tests your depth. There's no question about it.
Right.
So, they got very fortunate. I know Pete Carroll very subtly. We talked yesterday about John Spytek talking about the health of the team and not being worried about jinxing it, and then you ruining it by saying John Spytek might be a little bit more superstitious than I thought. That's disappointing. But Pete Carroll today was talking about health, and he had his hands up and he kind of tapped.
I'm with him.
Wood. Like he didn't knock the wood, but he kind of tapped on the podium with a finger. And it could have just been a twitch, but I think he was kind of knocking.
I'm Italian, and whenever I was young and I got a compliment, somebody would
You're
do
Italian?
this to me. Would do this.
I had no
It's
idea.
like the horns. We get poked with the horns. That was to
Like weeding out spirits or something?
yes, exactly. No, the jinx, the jinx spirits. Like get that out of there. Don't you won't. So I'm all about it, man. I'm all about those jinx.
Inform everyone right now that there's no such thing as jinx.
Hey.
That doesn't exist.
Who's to say? Who's to say?
Believe in math and numbers. And
I'll
data.
tell you what is a real thing. Captains, and we're going to get to captains.
Wow, that was. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Captains are a real thing, apparently.
They
are. The captains were announced today. We're going to get to that in just 1 second. But before we do, hey, you guys asked for it. We are delivering at the Las Vegas Review-Journal with Raiders coverage, the best Raiders coverage at a discounted price, 25 cents for the next 3 months of Vegas Nation Raiders coverage. 25 cents total, not 75 cents. That would be 25 cents per month. We're talking about 25 cents for the entire 3-month period.
It would still be worth it, and it's only 25 cents. That's much better.
It's craziness. All you have to do is this. Go to mylvrj.com/nation. mylvrj.com/nation. To find the special. It's 25 cents for the next 3 months of Vegas Nation coverage. You don't have to go anywhere else. Vegas Aces got you covered. Got all the stories up there, the videos, including this one, photo essays, great columns by Adam and Ed Graney, all of my coverage, all of Adam's coverage. Everything that we do is right there at Vegas Nation on a daily basis, 24/7. We got you covered. Go to mylvrj.com/nation to get Vegas Nation Raiders coverage for the next 3 months for 25 cents total.
That really is a great deal. Hope you take advantage of that. And we promised you we were going to talk about captains, and we will. But first, we're going to hear from Heidi Fang and Chuck Esposito. Then we'll get to who's been named captains for this season.
And joining us now here on the First and 10 podcast, we have the race and sportsbook director from Station Casinos in for his weekly segment. It's Chuck Esposito here, and I'm Heidi Fang. We're going to break down all of the week 1 action. That's right, NFL season. It's here. Week 1, Chuck. How's everything going on your end there?
I'm going to repeat it again, Heidi. First, it's yay sportsbooks. We are excited that football season's here. We're not that far away from week 1 of the NFL. We've got college this week. It's good. We've already seen some line moves. The teams have basically cut down to the 53-man rosters. Still some tweaking going on, but we're excited that football's here. Robust signups right now for last man standing, college and pro, and you can just feel a different atmosphere in the book right now with football and the holiday weekend upon us.
As we look ahead here, one of the games, of course, that we have to start off with, Raiders-Patriots. Right now, Raiders still getting 3. That's been, like we talked about before we got on air here, that the number stayed. It's been 3 for a while. What can you tell us about some of the numbers in the action that you're seeing on this game? Is it heavy Raiders still in the books?
It is heavy Raiders. I mean, this game had been as high as 4.5. Total had been as high as 43, and then it kind of dipped down a little bit, but it's starting to creep back up right now. I don't think it's just, our public bias or our fan base out here betting the Raiders right now. We've seen a little bit of sharp play on the Raiders. I think it's just, the Pete Carroll, the Chip Kelly factor, having Geno Smith at quarterback, Genty, Bowers, Jacoby Myers. I mean, they're a team that has some talent right now. And at this Patriot team, I think they'll be much improved. I really like Drake May a lot, but maybe anything over a field goal was just too much value for the bettors right now, and thought that anything above 3, take the Raiders. But that's where it's been. A lot will change before kickoff. a week from Sunday, but early action has clearly been on the Raiders. Also on the future book, we've seen some Raider action to win the Super Bowl, to win that division, which I think, and we've talked about, is that one of the toughest divisions in football. But their win total, which was 6.5, had gone to 7, and it could actually go to 7.5. So there's definitely some Raider love out there from our guests so far.
Love it. And speaking of that AFC West and how tough it is, Broncos right now, a very heavy favorite over the Titans in the week 1 opener, getting 8. The Titans are for this matchup. What do you think about this one, Chuck? How do you break it down?
Well, I know you and I have chatted about this. I think both the Broncos and Chargers are due to make a big leap in the AFC West. I think they can challenge the Chiefs. Bo Nix was a quarterback 5 after week 8 last year. You go out and you add J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, Evan Ingram. All 5 offensive linemen are back, a good defense, and Titans are going to be starting a rookie quarterback, the first overall pick in Cam Ward. So you look at two teams on kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. This Bronco team is getting a lot of love right now. We're going to need some dog love, some puppy love week 1, and the Titans are going to be one of those teams that we need to come through for us.
In the final game I want to look over is anything that you see that, has your piqued your interest in this coming week 1 as we look ahead.
I think it's a Sunday night game between the Ravens and the Bills. I think both teams are primed to really challenge the Chiefs and unseat them as the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. They play week 1. The game's in Buffalo. Buffalo's a much different team at home. Of course, I think they'd rather catch a team later in the year where weather is an element, but that would favor Baltimore too because they're used to playing in that. But I think this really can set the stage for the AFC. So I'm anxious to see how this game goes. It's been as high as 1.5. It's come back down to 1 right now. But for me, that is really the marquee game opening week in pro football.
There you have it from Chuck Esposito, the Race and Sportsbook Director from Station Casinos. We do this every week, breaking it down for you, what the numbers are, what the sentiment is from the public, all of it here on the Vegas Nation podcast. And of course, all these numbers that we've spoken about, you can get on the app. That's the STN Sports app. Download it today. And we can also get those papers, those nice crunchy papers inside the sportsbooks if you walk in.
We have for new signups on the app up to a $50 no-worry wager. And real quick, don't forget, get signed up for Last Man Standing, college and pro, guaranteed $150K in the pro, $100 in college. They are aggregate payouts in case there are multiple winners who tie, but a lot of good stuff going on at all the STN sportsbooks throughout the Valley.
And keep your eyes out, everyone. Like he said, all around the Valley. But that'll do it for us here today. And we look forward to speaking with Chuck again next week. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, Heidi.
We're proud of those guys. They have been leading since the moment we got here, and they're exactly the right guys. Obviously, these guys voted them almost unanimously. So really proud to represent our club with those guys.
All right, so the Raiders announced their captains today. Was it? I had to go peel off to go do a interview with Justin Fargas. That story is going to be coming out here pretty soon. Told me some great Pete Carroll stories. He played for Pete Carroll back at USC. Now he's with the Raiders. The former Raider running back is now a coaching fellowship. So he's getting into the coaching side of things. So I didn't get a chance to hear about the captains. Was this voted on or
player
picked,
vote?
or how'd this all work?
Player vote and fair democracy here at the Raiders, as Pete Carroll pointed out. But I don't think there's much of a surprise in who the captains are.
Maybe the amount.
Just 3?
Yeah, because we've seen before where it was like 6 sometimes.
Offense, defense, and special teams. And I
Old school, I love it.
I'll give you a second here as you're watching to try to guess who they
All
are.
right,
But
let's maybe do that. Defense.
I mean,
It's not Jeremy. It's not Jeremy Chin.
it's not. It's
who would make a good captain.
Who would be a
but-
good captain. But it's Max Crosby. I know that's kind of stunning.
and
to a lot of
absolutely
people.
deserved, without
Yeah,
question.
for sure.
He is the face of this franchise,
Yeah.
the face of the defense, the heart and soul of the defense, the heartbeat, whatever you want to call it. Plus, now he's the captain. All right, so now we'll go over to the offensive side of the ball. Let's think about some possibilities. There's Colton Miller, who's been here for a long time. Sometimes your center, represents that. It's Jordan Meredith.
Jacoby Myers, who wants to get traded.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting one.
That's still very interesting to me that we're going to be monitoring that, and can't wait to talk to Jacoby and kind of get his
Brock
thoughts on all
Bowers
that.
could
Brock
be a good
Bowers
choice,
could
although
be
he's very, very
quiet.
quiet. I don't know how that would work.
He's a classic. I let my play do my talking.
Sure.
Why don't you let everybody know who the captain is on offense?
It's Geno Smith.
Yeah,
I don't think
Geno
there's
Smith,
that
the
much
quarterback.
of
I think that makes
the big reveal.
The big
Geno
yeah,
Smith.
That I think it makes a lot of sense, and in getting to know Geno a little bit now in the time that we've been covering him, articulate, accepts the leadership role. We've seen him out on the field get after it a little bit. Like he's not just going to be all Mr. Nice Guy. He's got another side to him, which is a good side to him when it comes to football in terms of the fieriness. There's that, and I think he's also a guy that probably connects people and all that good stuff. So no surprise, Geno Smith.
Pete Carroll didn't have to, put his thumb on the scale or do any redistricting or anything like that. But he might have to get Geno Smith the captain job, but he didn't have to.
No.
It was going to be Geno Smith no matter what.
Yeah.
And, obviously a good choice and an obvious choice for the Raiders offense and on special teams, returning once again. A lot of drama about his captainship because there's been some stretches of very bad coin toss calling.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about A.J. Cole, the punter. Now, I'm thinking about this for a second because Daniel Carlson, another great special teams player that probably deserves it. But when you think about the special teams, A.J. Cole is on...
He's on all of them. He punts, he holds.
Punts, he holds. That's it, really, actually.
Last year threw a pass.
He did throw a pass. He's not on kickoff coverage or kickoff return. Could be, but he's on 2 of the 4, right? There's 4 total.
Well, you think, obviously kickoff you think of, and Carlson's out there, but you think of field goals and punts, and that's A.J. Cole's job. Mm-hmm. And he's also vocal and a leader. He also is the player rep for the NFLPA.
Yes.
So obviously a leader in the locker room, and no surprise that he is once again a captain.
Right. So there are your captains: Max Crosby on defense, Geno Smith on offense, and A.J. Cole special teams. I like it as an old school dude that it's just 3. It's your offense, your defense, and your special teams. They're going to be out there calling the shots on coin toss, opening coin toss, and when you go into overtime, they'll be out there as well. So, and I think that I think. In terms of the practicality of their roles, because this goes beyond just the field. This is who goes to the coach to express whatever misgivings or ideas or whatever. It funnels through the captains, and I can't think of 3 better captains for this football team. Also today, we got a chance to talk to Kenny Pickett, and in terms of somebody that kind of is embodying the chip on the shoulder guy, I thought. Kenny Pickett is a clear example of that. He's been traded how many times now? 3 times?
3 times, and Pete Carroll joked about that.
In the last...
3 years?
Not even 3 years.
Yeah.
No, last year, with just over a calendar year, basically. So traded by the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Philadelphia Eagles after they had acquired Russell Wilson. So that would be last March, or not this past March, but the last March before. So let's just say 24 months.
Yeah.
3 times over the last 24 months. That's a lot. What did Pete have to say about Kenny?
Well, Pete was talking about having the chip on the shoulder and kind of fitting in with the team in that regard, and he said, "Well, when you've been traded as many times as you have, you basically are carrying a bag of chips around with you." So, and Pete said he made a very strong first impression on the team, which is important for a quarterback to come in, and you don't want to come in and kind of try to take the reins, especially a backup quarterback. It's like, I'm the guy now, I'm the leader now, kind of thing. But you do want to make a strong impression of everybody's knowing that if it is time for you to have to be the leader, that you're capable of doing it. And it sounds like he came in and really did that right away with this team. So
awkward
Pete was
moment
impressed.
by the way. Awkward moment alert. By the way. Alert. Yeah. So I after I wrapped up my interview with Justin Fargas, I came over just as Kenny Pickett was maybe the last 3 minutes of his availability, and they got him at the podium, and I was to his right, which faces the Raiders, kind of
where they
the
walk from
hallway,
the locker room to the cafeteria.
the hallway
team
that
meetings.
leads you to everywhere. The main thoroughfare of the Raiders building for the players, and who's walking by. Kind of looking out of the left of his eye is Aiden O'Connell, watching Kenny Pickett do his media, which is a place that Aiden has spent a lot of time over the years. So, The human side to all of this, and I could see that he was like, he was trying to look up to kind of maybe just avoid even looking over there. Sometimes you got to put yourself in the shoes of others, and can you imagine, being in that situation and not seeing your life flash before you, but kind of like your career, and we talked about this yesterday, the uncertainty of Aiden O'Connell. Who knows what's going to happen with Aiden O'Connell this year, whether it's with the Raiders or someplace else, or what his future holds. Can you imagine just seeing your replacement over there in a spot that you had been many, many times?
Yeah, that's tough, and definitely we might tell the story on the podcast sometime. I'm going to say in the top 3 most embarrassing moments of my life was in front of Aiden O'Connell. So I mean, not that
I remember that.
So yeah, it's you feel for somebody in that position for sure. But he was out on the practice field today. Had his wrist obviously very heavily bandaged.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it's real life, right? I mean, it's people think about these guys are just on the field or whatever, and I know that. I've gotten some feedback from people listen to podcasts that say I defend players too much and they make so much money. Like, it's still real life.
Of course.
There's still real life situations, and they're just regular people.
Say what you want, Raider fans, of Jimmy Garoppolo. Personally, I just don't think you ever saw a fully healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. It's neither here nor there, but he was really a truly good dude. And so I got to know him a little bit, obviously, covering him. And I remember after everything that happened where he got benched and Aiden, that was Aiden's turn, right? And I remember talking to him. I was just like, hey, man, just keep your head up, and things circle back, blah, blah, blah. We're just having that conversation, right? And he's like, hey, life could be a lot worse. Yeah. I've dealt with a lot worse things than this. I'll be fine. And you realize that, if you have the right perspective, and now he's doing – he's the backup over in Los Angeles. Not a bad place to be.
That's when Devontae Adams signed off on the move and now has to catch passes.
Right, exactly. So talk about an awkward moment.
Yeah.
But I know, knowing Jimmy is like, whatever, dude. I'm good, man. Whatever you said.
But I think Jimmy's personality is different than a lot of other guys' personality.
No doubt. Yeah. For sure. Without question. But it was a little bit of an awkward moment for Aiden. We'll see what the future holds for him. But not a whole lot going on today. It's one of those get out of town days. Although Kenny Pickett talked about how he's going to stay in town, he's got to find a place to live. Number one, but number two, he and Amari Cooper are going to be a lot of guys are going to be in the building throughout this whole process. But he and Amari in particular are going to get out there.
A lot more of them will be in Cabo.
Cabo.
I imagine a lot more will be in
Is that
Cabo.
Where, that your prediction? Are you going to see them in Cabo?
I'm not going to Cabo this weekend.
This guy is Mr. Cabo.
This is usually a Cabo weekend, but not this year.
Okay.
But yeah, this is definitely a time between right after minicamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's a big week. Week down there, and certainly like this weekend, there's going to be a lot of flights. I saw Michael Parsons is on a flight. So it sounded like he was actually going to get a second opinion on his back.
Maybe third.
He wasn't going to Cabo, but he was spotted at the airport. But yeah, I would imagine there's a lot of players right now who are finishing their meals and heading to the airport.
Well, I'll say this: the next time we reconvene, it's literally going to be talking about a game week, which we're pretty excited about.
Also, Pete Carroll did say, I hope everybody does the right things the next 3 days, meeting the players.
Yeah.
Which, that's another thing. I think the Raiders have been, pretty good recently. So
yeah.
But yeah, this is a weekend that a lot of NFL teams are looking at
holding their breath,
just looking at their phones, seeing if there's.
You don't want well, I'm not going to go there. And starting next week, we are going to. I think next week we do 2 podcasts, and then the following week we do 3, or maybe I guess. Yeah,
we might just do every day. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Might as well just do every practice day. We'll see. You know what? Comments. You guys tell us what you want in the comments. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and remember, Vegas Nation Raider coverage, 25 cents for the next 3 months. All you have to do is go to mylvrj.com/nation to get that offer and to take advantage of that offer. We truly appreciate all the support. We thank the support of the Las Vegas Review-Journal and Station Casinos STN Sports. Dom, thank you so much. Appreciate your help. Adam, thank you. Make some good decisions this weekend.
Waved at him like he was 100 miles away. He's right there.
Did I?
It felt like you did.
I'm Italian. I talk with my hands.
That's fair.
All right. So anyway, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the long weekend. Be safe. Enjoy Labor Day on Monday. We'll be back next week to talk about The Raiders versus the New England Patriots. It is here, and we are very thankful for that. Check you guys out later.